Hi friends, and welcome to another tutorial here at Sunnyside Design. Today we're in Ellie's bedroom and we are finishing up probably the biggest project we have done for her room.
It's taken longer too because of summer and kids
Well,
are here.
it is. It's been a challenge to get it finished. Anyway,
so sneak peek, we're going to show you today how we did this built-in with a desk and all using existing furniture.
Yeah.
Here's a look at the wall that we are going to do the built-ins for in Ellie's bedroom. So you can see also that we did not paint our navy clear over there because the bookcases will be covering that part, so we just saved ourselves a little work. But we are first going to remove this bottom baseboard and remove the windowsill because we're going to make a desktop that is right in there, so the desktop will be part of the windowsill. And then the header up there, we are just going to use a multi-tool to cut flush so that our window's still framed, but the bookcase will butt up nicely, and we'll get started.
These are the furniture pieces that Steph purchased to build the built-ins. She purchased that little dresser for $20 and the two bookcases, $50 for the two of them. She found these on Facebook Marketplace, and she chose these because they were the exact dimensions she needed for her space.
All right, to remove the baseboard, we need a couple of tools here. We'll be using a utility knife, a multi-painter's tool thing, a nail bar, and a hammer. So what we'll need to do first is score. I'll just show you a little bit here, but you'll want to score the whole baseboard with the knife. Now we'll use this tool right at the edge of the baseboard and the wall, and we'll start to hammer to loosen up that baseboard. And you can see right there already how easily it's coming apart from the wall. So we're going to do that across the whole baseboard before we begin prying it off the wall, because we're going to try to save this for the front of the built-in. So now you can also use this nail bar to pry in here and hammer as well, just to loosen things up, breaking it away from the wall, and it will slowly start to come away and pull the nails right out of the wall. Now we can just pull it right out.
We used a block of wood and a hammer to tap against the edge of the windowsill to remove that as well.
For the bottom drawers of this built-in, I picked up this dresser off of our local classifieds for $20. We have slid it back all the way to the wall where we've removed the baseboard, and we're just using it here as a guide so we can mark the wall right here so that we know where to cut this side of the baseboard. Now we're going to use a multi-tool to cut this baseboard so we can pry it from the wall.
We then used a circular saw to cut off the legs from the dresser. The next thing we need to do is to remove the carpeting and pad in this area where that little dresser is going to fit. So we cut the carpet and the pad with a utility knife and then used a little crowbar to remove the tack strip. For this side of our built-ins, we are using this small dresser, and we have made a base out of 2x8s that we needed to rip down. We needed it to be 6.5 inches high to make it the right height for our countertop that we're going to put on here. So these are just, we just built a basic box, screwed those together, and it is secured to the wall or the floor by toe-nailing these screws in there. They're just angled in right there. We also use some screws to secure the front side of our base. and did those at an angle too, so that those are toe-nailed into the floorboards as well. And then the last thing we did is we used some screws and secured the bottom of the dresser to our base that we made. We are now going to secure the back of this little dresser to the wall with some screws. We've pre-drilled some holes and we're going into the stud in the wall.
So I have marked our molding around the window and also the headers right there where we need to cut them, just so the bookcases will be flush. So I'm going to use a multi-tool to cut those.
Before we mount this bookcase to our wall, we actually needed to trim down this top section of the bookcase so it was flush with the bookcase so we can put our decorative molding on. This was actually an IKEA bookcase, and so the top just unscrewed. So we just took it off, trimmed it down on the table saw, and then reattached it.
So remember, we started with 2 full bookcases. We have cut the legs off, and it will actually be resting on top of our countertop. And then we have it sitting on top of some drawers on this side. For the right side of the window, we had, again, a full bookcase, but we had such a narrow opening between the window and the wall. We cut the bookcase in half, and then we're using the other half that we cut off to build this lower section here that will be shelving. So we're going to secure all of this together, cleat it to the wall so everything's nice and secure and built in.
We built a base on this right side, the same size or same height as we did on the left. We then secured that first section of bookcase to the base using the brad nailer with 2-inch brads. Now, to secure these 2 sections of modified bookcase together, we marked the center of the top of the short one and the bottom of the bigger section and drilled a hole, and then we're putting a little dowel in between the two using some wood glue, and then we will mount that upper section of bookcase directly on top of the lower one, and it will be secured there with the dowel and the wood glue on that side. For the right side of this narrow section, we had to recreate a side of the bookcase, and so we used a 2x2 board and secured that to the wall with the 2-inch brads, and then we cut strips or little cleats that we mounted inside on the wall, and we used the nail brads to secure those as well for each shelf on that right side of the narrow bookcase. We brought in the desktop and we have got it across the drawers over here, and then we have secured a cleat to the wall, which the rest of the desktop is resting on. And right now we're just going to add one more cleat at this end where it meets the other side of the bookcase. It's a little dark under here to see exactly what we're doing, but we did cut a little cleat and we are securing it to that small section of bookcase with the 2-inch nail brads. We next secured the countertop, the desktop, to the top of that little dresser. We just shot some 2-inch nail brads up through the dresser up into the countertop. We have now placed that full-size bookcase on top of the countertop on the left there, and we are going to secure the bottom of it by placing some brads, shooting those up from the bottom underneath the countertop there, the desktop, up into the bottom of that bookcase. We are now going to secure the top of the bookcase to the wall at studs. We've gone ahead and marked where a stud is. Put a couple of them there. And And I'm going to, over here in the corner, toenail it into the corner.
Here's a look at the built-ins so far. We still are going to put crown molding on, and of course our baseboards back on. We've got shelves to put up, but it's coming.
To make these shelves more substantial, we're going to add some molding to the front so that they appear to look thicker. So we cut some molding to the length, and then we're just going to use the nail gun and secure them into place. And there you have it. So to cover the riser that we made for this little dresser to sit on, we're taking some 3/4 inch MDF, and we routed the edge just to curve it over and cut it on a 45-degree angle. And we're just going to tack that in place right now. And so across the top, we did the same treatment as we did on the bottom. We took a 3/4 inch MDF and we just cut it, mitered it, and then routed the edge so it's kind of rounded. And then we're preparing now to put the crown molding. Okay, we are going to actually glue and nail the joint together first on the crown molding before we install it up at the top. By doing this, Steve is able to get a perfect match there on the mitered corner of the crown molding. Then the crown molding piece is placed up at the top, and you have it flush with the ceiling and then flush with that extra molding that we put around the bookcase, and then it's just nailed into position there with the brad nailer. Here we are finally to the caulking.
We say caulk,
Sorry, I said that wrong.
We walk and talk and caulk.
We've got all of the nail holes spackled in now, just finishing up on the caulk, and then we're going to prime today.
The built-ins have been caulked and primed, and we are ready to give a light sanding so we can apply our paint and get a nice smooth finish.
We ended up doing quite a bit of sanding with that primer. It turned out to be a super hot day, the day we primed, and we had the window open because of the strong odor of the primer, and it dried the primer a little bit too quickly, and so there was quite a few brush strokes that were showing. So we ended up sanding it quite a bit, and then we applied 2 coats of paint. We used the Bare Alkyd Satin Finish paint for this. It is a latex paint, but it acts like an oil-based paint. It has really great durability, and so we chose that because of the wear and tear that a bookcase will get.
Well, this project was a long time coming. We probably spent 3 weeks in all to complete this because it's summer, kids are home, life is crazy. We've had swim lessons and cousin sleepovers and everything in between. So it's taken a little bit longer than we thought, but I am absolutely loving the finished product. Ellie loves to draw and create. She's always working on some masterpiece, and so I really needed a spot in her room where she could have a large work area and all of this storage space. So this is perfect for her. We're just going to let this paint cure so we don't get any scuff marks, and we cannot be happier with the way it is. If you liked our tutorial, please subscribe to our channel. Make sure to tap that bell notification so you know when our new videos are released. You can also follow us on social media. All of those buttons are in the links below. And as always here at Sunnyside Design, we hope to bring your home to the sunny side of the street.